Do you work harder than everyone you know but still stay broke? You wake up tired, go to sleep tired, and still feel behind. You watch others move forward, buying cars, getting promotions, traveling the world, posting photos from places you can only dream about. Meanwhile, you stay stuck, working harder every day, suffering quietly, hoping that one day it will finally pay off. You tell yourself, just one more month, just one more year. If I keep pushing, things will get better. But the days pass, the months pass, the years pass, and nothing really changes. Maybe you've started to wonder, is something wrong with me? Am I not smart enough? Am I cursed? Did I miss some secret that everyone else knows? The answer is no. You're not broken. You're not cursed. You're not stupid. You just haven't learned the difference between working hard and working smart. This story will change how you work forever. Stay till the end, because what this man discovered didn't just save his career, it saved his life. And by the time we're done, you'll have a clear roadmap to escape the trap you're in right now. His name was Jack. And 6 years ago, he was exactly where you might be today. Jack was 29 years old. But if you looked at him, you'd think he was pushing 40. Dark circles under his eyes. Shoulders permanently slumped. A kind of exhaustion that sleep couldn't fix. He was drowning quietly, not in water, but in work, tiredness, and silent disappointment. Jack lived in a small rented room on the 3rd floor of an old building in the outskirts of the city. You know the kind of building I'm talking about. The ones where the stairs creak, the hallways smell like old cooking oil, and you can hear your neighbors arguing through the walls. His room was tiny. Maybe 10 feet by 12 feet. Cracked walls with paint peeling off in strips. A window that barely opened, covered with a thin curtain that used to be white but had turned gray from years of dust. In the corner sat a thin mattress on the floor. No bed frame. Just the mattress, with a single worn-out blanket and a pillow that had lost all its fluff. Next to it, a small plastic table he'd bought from a street vendor for $5. A broken chair with one leg shorter than the others, so it wobbled every time he sat down. And an old standing fan that made more noise than breeze, tick 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 tick, all night long, every night. This was not the kind of place people dreamed about living in. This was the kind of place people stayed in when they were just trying to survive. When they were one bad month away from being homeless. Every month, Jack paid his rent on time. $400. Every month, he sent money home to his parents, $200, because his father had diabetes and his mother's knees were bad, and they needed help with medical bills. And every month, after rent and family and food and transport, Jack's bank balance stayed close to zero. Sometimes it went negative. He never bought new clothes. The jeans he wore had holes in them. The t-shirts were faded and stretched out. His winter jacket was too thin for winter, but he couldn't afford a new one. He never went out with friends. When they invited him for drinks or movies, he'd make up excuses. I'm tired. I have to work early. Maybe next time. After a while, they stopped inviting him. He never took a real break. No vacations. No weekends off. No holidays. Just work, work, work. His phone screen was cracked in 3 places. When it rained, water got into the cracks and the screen would flicker. But a new phone cost money he didn't have. His shoes were worn out, the soles were so thin, he could feel every pebble on the road. When it rained, his socks got wet. But new shoes? Not in the budget. His bike, his only mode of transport, was falling apart. The chain squeaked every time he pedaled. The brakes barely worked. The seat was ripped, and sometimes the foam padding would poke through and irritate his legs during long rides. But Jack kept telling himself one thing, again and again, like a prayer he didn't want to question. Asterisk, if I just work harder, life will eventually reward me. Asterisk. He believed in the myth. The myth that hard work is always rewarded. That effort equals results. That if you just grind long enough, sacrifice enough, suffer enough, the universe will notice and pay you back. But life doesn't work that way. And Jack was about to learn that the hard way. Let me tell you about Jack's daily routine. Because this is where you'll see yourself. This is where most people are trapped. Every morning at exactly 5 a.m., Jack's alarm rang. Not a gentle chime. A loud, angry beeping that jolted him awake like a slap to the face. He'd groan, reach over, and slam the off button. Then he'd sit up slowly on his thin mattress, rubbing his eyes, his body aching from yesterday's work. His back hurt. His shoulders hurt. His knees hurt. He was 29 but felt 50. He'd drag himself to the small sink in the corner of the room, No bathroom, just a shared toilet down the hall, and splash cold water on his face. The water was always cold because there was no heater. In winter, it felt like ice. He'd look at himself in the cracked mirror hanging on the wall. Dark circles under his eyes. Bloodshot. A face that looked older than it should. Hair messy and unwashed because he was too tired to care. And every morning, he'd whisper the same thing to himself. Asterisk, just keep going. It'll pay off one day. Asterisk. By 5:30, he'd throw on his work clothes, the same faded jeans, the same old t-shirt, grab his bag, and head out the door. By 6 a.m., he was on the bus to the warehouse. The early morning bus, packed with people just like him. Silent people. Tired people. People with dead eyes, staring at their phones or out the window, all going somewhere they didn't want to be. Nobody talked. Nobody smiled. Just the hum of the engine and the occasional cough. Jack would sit in the back, earbuds in, listening to nothing, just blocking out the world. At 7 a.m., he clocked in at the warehouse. Now, if you've never worked in a warehouse, let me paint the picture for you. Imagine a massive concrete building. Cold in the winter, boiling in the summer. Fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. The smell of cardboard, dust, and sweat. Rows and rows of metal shelves stacked with boxes. And the constant beeping of forklifts moving back and forth. Jack's job was simple: lift boxes, scan them, move them to the next station. Repeat. For 10 hours. Some boxes weighed 5 pounds. Some weighed 50. It didn't matter. You just kept lifting. One box after another. After another. After another. His hands would start hurting by hour 2. His back would start aching by hour 4. By hour 8, his shoulders felt like they were on fire. And the supervisors? They didn't care. They'd walk around with clipboards, shouting at workers, "Move faster. Don't waste time. We're behind schedule." If you slowed down, they'd write you up. 3 write-ups, you're fired. So Jack never slowed down. He just kept lifting. Kept scanning. Kept moving. No breaks except lunch. A 30-minute lunch where he'd eat a sandwich he'd packed from home, usually peanut butter and jelly, because it was cheap, sitting alone on a crate, too tired to talk to anyone. Then back to work. By 6 p.m., his shift ended. He'd clock out, his body screaming, his feet throbbing, his back stiff. But Jack's day wasn't over. Because he had a second job. At 6:30 p.m., Jack would jump on his bike and start delivering food. He worked for one of those app-based delivery services. You know the ones. You order food on your phone, and someone brings it to your door. That someone was Jack. He'd pedal through the city streets for 6 hours. From 6:30 p.m. to 12:30 a.m. Sometimes later if it was a busy night. Cold wind hitting his face. Traffic lights slowing him down. Angry drivers honking at him, cutting him off, nearly hitting him. He'd pick up orders from restaurants, Chinese food, pizza, burgers, ride across town, climb up apartment stairs, knock on doors, hand over the food with a forced smile, and wait for a tip. Sometimes people tipped. Most times they didn't. On good nights, he'd make $60. On bad nights, $30. By the time he got home, it was 1 a.m. Sometimes 2 a.m. He'd collapse on his mattress, fully clothed, too tired to even take off his shoes. And at 5 a.m., the alarm would ring again. This was Jack's life. 7 days a week. No rest. No joy. No hope. Just work. And exhaustion. And the quiet, creeping fear that this was all there would ever be. But here's the thing that really hurt Jack. He wasn't lazy. He wasn't wasting time. He wasn't partying or drinking or scrolling social media all day. He was working. Harder than most people ever would. And yet, he was still broke. Still stuck. Still invisible. While other people who worked less than him, people who seemed to have it easier, were moving forward. Every night, before falling asleep, Jack would scroll through Instagram. Just for a few minutes. Just to see what everyone else was doing. And it killed him. His old college classmates posting pictures of their new cars. Their promotions. Their vacations to Thailand, to Europe, to places Jack couldn't even afford to dream about. People smiling in clean offices, holding coffee cups with company logos. People getting married. Buying houses. Starting families. And there was Jack. In a cracked room with a broken chair and a squeaky fan. Eating instant noodles for the 3rd time that week. He'd stare at his phone screen and whisper to himself. Asterisk, what am I doing wrong? Why is everyone else moving forward and I'm still here? Asterisk. Then he'd turn off his phone, close his eyes, and fall asleep. And the next day, he'd do it all over again. Busy. Exhausted. Going nowhere. Let me tell you about the day everything broke. It started 6 months before the real collapse. With a breakup that Jack still thought about every single day. Jack had a girlfriend. Her name was Sarah. They'd been together for 2 years. She was kind, patient, and she genuinely loved him. But love isn't always enough. One evening, they were sitting in a cheap cafe near Jack's workplace. The kind of place with plastic chairs and fluorescent lights. Jack was drinking black coffee because it was the cheapest thing on the menu. Sarah had ordered tea. They sat in silence for a while. Then Sarah took a deep breath and said, "Jack, we need to talk." Jack looked up. He knew that tone. It was the tone people use when they're about to end something. "I love you," Sarah said softly. "I really do. But love isn't enough." Jack frowned. "What do you mean?" Sarah looked down at her tea. "You have no future plan. You're always tired. Always working. But nothing is changing." "I'm working 2 jobs," Jack said, his voice defensive. "I'm trying my best." Sarah shook her head. "You're busy. Not building." Those words hit him like a punch. Busy. Not building. "You work all day, every day," Sarah continued. "But where is it going? What's the plan? Are you saving? Are you learning something new? Are you working toward anything? Or are you just surviving?" Jack didn't have an answer. Sarah reached across the table and touched his hand. "I can't do this anymore. I can't watch you destroy yourself. I can't build a future with someone who doesn't have one." Then she stood up, placed some money on the table to cover her tea, and walked out. Jack didn't chase her. Didn't argue. He just sat there, staring at his coffee, feeling like the biggest failure in the world. That night, he cried for the first time in years. But he didn't change anything. He just kept working. 6 months later, everything collapsed. It was a Tuesday. Jack was at the warehouse, lifting boxes as usual, when he saw his co-worker Leo walk out of the manager's office. Leo was grinning. Actually grinning. Now, Leo was the exact opposite of Jack. Leo was lazy. He showed up late. He took long breaks. He joked around with the supervisors. He did the bare minimum and somehow got away with it. And yet, there he was, walking toward Jack with the biggest smile on his face. "Guess who just got promoted?" Leo said, laughing. Jack felt his heart drop into his stomach. "You?" Jack asked, barely able to get the word out. "Yup." Leo said, slapping Jack on the shoulder. "Team leader. 20% raise. I start next week." Jack stood there, frozen, holding a box in his hands, unable to speak. Leo walked away, still laughing, and Jack just stood there in the middle of the warehouse, surrounded by boxes and noise and the smell of cardboard, feeling like the world had just punched him in the face. Later that day, Jack walked past the manager's office. The door was half open, and he could hear voices inside. One of the supervisors was talking to the manager. "What about Jack?" the supervisor asked. "He works harder than anyone here." Jack stopped. His heart raced. Maybe they were considering him. Then he heard the manager's voice. "He's hardworking, but not smart." Jack felt like he'd been shot. Hardworking, but not smart. He walked away before they could see him. Went back to his station. Kept lifting boxes. But inside, something broke. That same week, Jack's bike chain snapped. He was in the middle of a delivery, pedaling through a busy intersection, when the chain just broke. Snapped clean in half. The bike jerked to a stop. Jack nearly fell off. Cars honked at him. People yelled. And Jack just stood there in the middle of the road, holding the broken chain in his hands, rain starting to fall, realizing he couldn't even afford to fix it. He called his delivery app and cancelled the rest of his orders. Lost a full night's pay. He pushed his bike home, soaking wet, and sat in his dark room with his head in his hands. That night, Jack cried harder than he'd ever cried in his life. Not because of the bike. Not because of the promotion. But because of everything. Because he'd done everything right. Worked harder than anyone. Sacrificed everything. And it didn't matter. "I'm trying so hard," he whispered into the darkness. "So hard. What if I'm wasting my life? What if I work like this forever and still die poor?" His chest felt tight. His breathing was shallow. And for the first time in his life, Jack had no answers. No hope. Just fear. The next morning, Jack woke up with puffy eyes and a headache. He dragged himself out of bed and into the hallway to use the shared bathroom. That's when he ran into Mr. Raymond. Mr. Raymond was the building manager. 55 years old. Always calm. Always neat. Always moving with purpose but never in a rush. Jack had seen him around but never really talked to him. Mr. Raymond lived on the first floor and owned 2 small shops in the neighborhood, a laundromat and a convenience store. He wasn't rich, but he seemed stable. Content. That morning, Mr. Raymond was watering a plant in the hallway. He looked up and saw Jack. "You okay?" Mr. Raymond asked. Jack wasn't planning to say anything. But something in Mr. Raymond's tone, no judgment, just genuine concern, made the words spill out. "I work harder than everyone I know," Jack said, his voice cracking. 2 jobs. Every day. No breaks. And I'm still broke. Still stuck. I don't understand." Mr. Raymond set down his watering can and looked at Jack for a long moment. Then he said, very calmly, "You're running very fast on the wrong road." Jack frowned. "What?" "You sharpen effort," Mr. Raymond said, "but you never sharpen direction." Jack didn't understand. Mr. Raymond gestured to the stairs. "Come. Sit for a minute." They sat on the stairs together. Mr. Raymond pulled out a small notebook from his pocket, the kind old people carry, and a pen. "You don't have a work problem," Mr. Raymond said. "You have a system problem." "What's a system?" Jack asked. Mr. Raymond nodded. "Hard work without structure is slow self-destruction." He opened his notebook and started writing. Most people think success is about effort. They think, work harder, work longer, hustle more. But that's a lie. Success isn't about effort. It's about leverage. Jack listened. "Right now," Mr. Raymond continued, "you trade time for money. You work 10 hours, you get paid for 10 hours. You work 20 hours, you get paid for 20 hours. But there's a limit. You only have 24 hours in a day. And eventually, your body breaks." Jack nodded. He felt it every day. "Smart people don't trade time for money," Mr. Raymond said. "They build systems. They develop skills that pay them more per hour. They create value that compounds." He drew a simple diagram in his notebook. Time for money equals dead end ***. Skills plus systems equals freedom ***. For the next 90 days, Mr. Raymond said, "I want you to follow 3 rules. Just 3. Can you do that?" Jack nodded, desperate. Mr. Raymond wrote them down. Rule 1. 2 hours every morning, learn 1 high-income skill. What skill? Jack asked. "Pick one," Mr. Raymond said. "Web development. Copywriting. Video editing. Graphic design. Digital marketing. SEO. Doesn't matter which one. Just pick one and stick with it." Rule 2. 1 hour a day, train your body. Why? Jack asked. "Because a weak body makes a weak mind," Mr. Raymond said. "You can't think clearly when you're exhausted. You need strength, stamina, and mental clarity." Rule 3. No overtime. No matter what. Jack laughed nervously. "If I stop overtime, I'll starve." Mr. Raymond looked him dead in the eyes. "You're already starving. Just slowly." Jack went quiet. Mr. Raymond wrote down a daily schedule. 5:30 a.m., 7:30 a.m. Learn skill, 2 hours. 8:00 a.m., 6:00 p.m. Warehouse job, 10 hours. 7:00 p.m., 8:00 p.m. Practice skill, 1 hour. 8:00 p.m., 9:00 p.m. Exercise, 1 hour. 10:00 p.m. Sleep. No second job. Jack asked. "No second job," Mr. Raymond said. "You use that time to build something that will replace both jobs." Jack stared at the schedule. It seemed impossible. "What if it doesn't work?" Jack asked. Mr. Raymond smiled. "What if it does?" Then he stood up, tore the page out of his notebook, and handed it to Jack. "Don't trust motivation," Mr. Raymond said. "Motivation comes and goes. Trust routine. Routine is what builds you." Jack took the paper. His hands were shaking. 90 days, Mr. Raymond said. "Give me 90 days. If nothing changes, go back to your old life. But give me 90 days. Jack nodded. He had nothing left to lose. The first week was hell. Day 1, Jack set his alarm for 5:30 a.m. It rang. He hit snooze. Woke up at 7 a.m. Missed the session entirely. He felt like a failure already. Day 2, he tried again. Woke up at 5:30. Sat at his small table with his laptop, a cheap, old laptop he'd bought used years ago, and opened a free web development course on YouTube. He lasted 20 minutes before his eyes started closing. He fell asleep at the desk. Day 3, he made it through 1 hour. But none of it made sense. HTML tags. CSS. It all looked like gibberish. He felt stupid. Day 5, his friends found out what he was doing. They mocked him. "You think you're gonna be a tech genius now?" One of them laughed. "Bro, you're a warehouse worker. Stick to what you know." Jack didn't argue. But their words stung. Day 10, Jack sat on his bed, exhausted and angry. He'd barely made any progress. He was still broke. Still tired. And now he'd lost income from quitting his second job. "This is useless," he muttered. "I need money now. Not in 90 days. Now." He almost quit right there. Then he remembered Mr. Raymond's words. Don't trust motivation. Trust routine. So he stood up. Opened his laptop. And forced himself to do the work. 1 hour. Even if he didn't understand it. Even if it felt pointless. He did it. And the next day, he did it again. By week 3, something started to change. Waking up at 5:30 became easier. His body adapted. His mind felt sharper. He wasn't learning fast, but he was learning. Slowly. Bit by bit. He built his first webpage. It was ugly. Broken. The colors were terrible. The layout didn't work on mobile. But it was his. He'd built it from scratch. And for the first time in months, Jack felt something he hadn't felt in a long time. Pride. Week 5, Jack joined an online freelancing platform. He created a simple profile. I build basic websites. Affordable rates. He didn't expect anything. But 2 days later, a message came in. A local bakery needed a simple website. 5 pages. Contact form. Menu display. Budget, $150. Jack's hands shook as he typed his reply, I can do it. He spent 2 weeks building that website. Late nights. Lots of YouTube tutorials. Lots of mistakes. But he finished it. He delivered the website. The bakery owner loved it. And one night, at 11:47 p.m., Jack received a notification on his phone. Payment received, $150. Jack stared at the screen. He started laughing. Then crying. Then laughing again. Not because of the $150. But because it was proof. Proof that he could do something different. Something that didn't require him to destroy his body. Something that could grow. He whispered to himself, tears running down his face. I can do this. I can actually do this. From that point on, everything shifted. Jack kept learning. Kept building. Every morning. Every evening. No excuses. He built websites for small businesses. A coffee shop. A yoga instructor. A plumber. His rates went up. $150 became $300. $300 became $500. Month 4, Jack landed his first big client. A real estate agent who needed a full website with photo galleries, lead capture forms, and SEO optimization. Payment, $1,200. Jack earned more in 2 weeks than he used to make in a full month at the warehouse. Month 5, Jack's boss at the warehouse noticed something. Jack was different. Focused. Calm. He wasn't scrambling anymore. He wasn't desperate. One day, the manager called him into the office. Jack, he said, we're creating a new team leader position. I'd like you to apply. Jack smiled. Thank you. But I'm good. The manager looked surprised. You're turning it down? Yeah, Jack said. I've got other plans. 2 weeks later, Jack quit the warehouse. He moved out of his tiny cracked room and into a small but clean apartment with an actual bed, a desk, and windows that opened all the way. He fixed his bike. Bought new shoes. Got his phone screen repaired. He sent more money home to his parents than he ever had before. And for the first time in years, Jack slept through the night without waking up in panic. 6 months after that conversation on the stairs, Jack ran into Mr. Raymond again. They were both in the hallway. Mr. Raymond was carrying groceries. Jack was heading out to meet a new client. "Mr. Raymond," Jack said, stopping him. "I need to thank you." Mr. Raymond smiled. "How's it going?" "I quit the warehouse," Jack said. "I'm doing web development full-time now. I've got 5 clients. I'm making more money than I ever did working 2 jobs. And I actually sleep now." Mr. Raymond nodded, proud. "Good. I knew you had it in you." "I didn't," Jack said. "I thought I was stuck. I thought I was just not smart enough." "You were never the problem," Mr. Raymond said. "The system was." Jack looked at him. "Can I ask you something? Why did you help me?" Mr. Raymond set down his groceries. "Because I was you," he said. 20 years ago, I was you. Working 3 jobs. Exhausted. Broke. Going nowhere." Jack's eyes widened. "I drove a taxi during the day," Mr. Raymond continued. "Delivered newspapers at night. Worked weekends at a car wash. I thought if I just worked harder, things would get better." "What changed?" Jack asked. "I met someone," Mr. Raymond said. "An old man who owned a bookstore. He told me the same thing I told you, you're running fast on the wrong road." He smiled. "He taught me to build systems. To develop skills. To stop trading time for money and start creating value. That's how I bought my first shop. Then my second. That's how I got here." Jack felt a lump in his throat. "So you helped me because someone helped you?" "Exactly," Mr. Raymond said. "And one day, you'll do the same for someone else." They stood there for a moment in silence. Then Jack said, quietly, "I wasn't lazy. I was untrained. I wasn't unlucky. I was unstructured. I don't chase money anymore. I build value." Mr. Raymond smiled. "Now you're talking like someone who's free." Jack nodded. He was. If you're listening to this right now and you see yourself in Jack's story, if you're working hard but still broke, exhausted but going nowhere, busy but not building, I want you to hear this. You are not broken. You are not cursed. You are not stupid. You just need a better system. 1 hour of smart work beats 10 hours of blind work. Here's your challenge for the next 7 days. Step 1. Pick ONE high-income skill. Not 5. Not 10. 1. Choose from. Web development. Copywriting. Video editing. Graphic design. SEO, search engine optimization. Digital marketing. Step 2. Practice for 1 hour every day. Use free resources. YouTube. Free Code Camp. Coursera. You don't need money. You need commitment. Step 3. Stop overtime. I know it's scary, but you're already starving slowly. Use that time to build something. Step 4. Sleep by 10 p.m. Your brain can't learn if it's exhausted. If you do this, if you really commit, your life will look completely different in 90 days. Not perfect, but different. Write in the comments, "I'm learning, skill name, starting today." Make it public. Make it real. Like this video as a promise to yourself. Subscribe for more stories like this. Your life doesn't change when you work harder. It changes when you work smarter. Your future is waiting. Start today.